Lines are the building blocks of visual art. You are a walking work of art. In this episode, I will explore how you can use line direction to evoke a specific feeling or to create a sense of movement or stability or to guide the viewer's eye. Your look is an artistic composition, and let's talk about artistic principles. But first, I want to invite you to take my style personality quiz. Find the link in the description for this episode or at my website, signaturestylesystems.com. Everything I do is for the purpose of creating harmony between who you are on the inside and what people see when they look at you. What made me think of this idea of talking about line direction today is actually the fact that it's time for me to get my chacos out. I have worn them a couple times this season just to toughen up my feet. If you have chacos, you know what I'm talking about. After being in full shoes all winter, but I haven't painted my toenails yet. And so I'm not wearing them all the time. I kind of don't really like to wear sandals without having my toenails painted, but in my chacos, if I'm just walking around the neighborhood or whatever, it's not so bad. I remember the first time I saw chacos. So it was love at first sight. I was at a wedding here in the Great Northwest, and several of the young adult family members were wearing chacos with their dresses. Instantly, I recognized that that diagonal strap pattern was more flattering than pretty much any sport sandals. I mean, I think before that, everybody wore Birkenstocks, and they don't fit my feet well. And I think they're great if they work for you. But yeah, that wasn't going to work for me. And chacos are, I think, almost elegant. So anyway, I bought a pair as soon as I got home. Um, Parenthetically here, I have debated back in the old days when I first was, um, my first few years, I guess, of wearing chacos. I debated on my blog with well-known stylist Imogen Lamport about whether or not chacos were elegant, but I could not convince her because I think she had a different idea about elegant. To my mind, they are elegant for what they are, but I think in her mind, no sports sandal is ever going to be elegant. So here in the Great Northwest and many other parts of the United States, chacos go everywhere, nearly everywhere. Um, and that's what got me thinking about line direction this week. So the types of line direction are vertical, horizontal, diagonal, curved, jagged. There might be something else I'm forgetting, but those are the ones I'm going to kind of define right here, what kind of a feeling they convey. So vertical lines imply strength and alertness, power and formality, which makes sense. I mean, the human figure, when it's standing up, is a vertical line. Okay, when the human figure is laying down, of course, it's a horizontal line, and that suggests calmness, stability, and peace. So a diagonal line gives the feeling of dynamic movement, restlessness, or tension. And I also call a diagonal line kind of a magic line, and I'm going to come back to that in a little bit and tell you how you can use that. Curved lines convey softness, fluidity, and grace. And then jagged lines are kind of aggressive, like almost scary. Jagged lines being just like a repeated kind of series of points, and they can be the same or they don't have to be. Okay, so in how they're used in artistic composition, you can have leading lines where artists use lines to direct the viewer's eye across the artwork. And then we'll come back in a minute to a couple ways that is used in creating an outfit. And then implied lines are lines that aren't explicitly a line in your outfit. It could be something like a row of buttons. So it's create implied line is created by the placement of objects. And so like a row of buttons would create an implied line if they were lined up with each other. Okay, so how you can use the concept of line direction in your outfits. One, you can use the type of line that relates to the feeling that you're trying to convey. So if you are going for a feeling of strength and alertness or power or formality, and you want to use a line, up and down is the one you want, vertical. And that kind of reminds me of like, I don't know, suits being all the same, or like that like dark formal dress that's like just all one thing. It's a, vertical line. Okay. So if you're going for a feeling of calmness, stability, and peace, then you're going to want the horizontal line, which that always puts me in mind of all the like, I mean, vertical stripes are a pretty traditional look in like a top, but horizontal stripes are like a thing every few years for women. And yeah, kind of a very laid back look. Diagonal is the line that you want for a feeling of dynamic movement. And then curved lines are what you want for a feeling of softness, flow, and grace. Then mostly I don't really recommend jagged lines, but if you choose to use them because you love them, that's great. And that probably means that they're right for you in some way. Just do it intentionally, knowing that they feel a little bit harsh to most people, kind of like fangs. Yeah. Okay, so here's the main way that we use line direction in outfits. It's to widen or lengthen in a specific spot. This includes the lines that are formed where one garment visually meets another on your body. So unless everything's in one fabric, there's going to be a line. There's a real subtle line, even if you're like wearing a suit and it's the same fabric, but like if you have your top tucked into your pants, it's, and depending on where your waist is, or like a waist length top and waist high pants, the line is at the waist. There's a horizontal line at the waist. If you're wearing like a kimono and it's open, then you've got two vertical lines kind of down the front. There's also garments that have seaming at different places, either yokes or like vertical seaming just for design lines, or like down the front or the back of your pants. So anyway, a vertical line is going to lengthen vertically, and it can also be used to break up visual width. So those are vertical lines. A horizontal line is going to widen horizontally, side to side. It can also be used to break up visual length. And then a diagonal line is sort of magic, because it does the work of a vertical line and a horizontal line at the same time, along with a little fool the eye thing. And so it's generally, it can be really flattering, a diagonal line. And that's why chacos make your feet look better. So then the last thing I want to say about using line is you can use line to direct the eye where you want it to go in the composition. And then in your outfit, that is your face. So yeah, just notice if the lines that you're using in your outfit are, directing the eye to the face. One of the ways that you can do that is by using like the same color accessories, or using like collars can be good for using lines to point to your face. Yeah, so now into the lab. Try on some clothes either in your closet or at the store and see if you can spot these concepts in action. Or if you don't have the energy for a big try on, that's okay. Just look for these ideas when you're watching TV or watching a show or a movie or whatever. And yeah, thanks for being here for this show. And I hope you enjoyed this mini art lesson. I'll meet you back here again real soon.